Okay, you guys are live.
You're good.
I'd like to call to order the August 21st, 2024 meeting of the UCIDA. Could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now do a roll call. Michael Ham, present. Rachel Silverman.
Present.
Stephen Kelly.
Present.
Joseph Ferraro.
Present.
Randall Everett.
Present.
Trevor Kerwin. And Costu Waller.
Here.
Thank you very much. Everyone is in attendance. That's great. The mission statement of the Ulster County Industrial Development Agency is to advance the job opportunities, general prosperity, and long-term economic vitality of Ulster County residents by targeting tax incentives, bonding, and other assistance to foster creation and attraction of new business and the retention and expansion of existing business. In front of you, you will have the meeting minutes from the July 10th board meeting on page 3. Please take a look at them, and I'll entertain a motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Public comment on agenda items only. Nothing? Okay. Executive session, if necessary. Good? All good? The chair's report. So we have activity coming in and out of the IDA as far as meeting with potential clients and developers. We meet with them, and then we're asking them to further conversation to please come to us with an application, and we'll keep going from there. Other than that, we just keep spinning our wheels if they don't start coming to us with an application. So right now, I'm going to let the executive, Hillary, touch base on more of that. Okay, but we keep on meeting with people. We get so far, and then we don't see an application. So, but there's a lot of activity going on behind the scenes, and Hillary, I'm going to let you do that in your executive director's report. Thank you.
Mike. So just to piggyback where Mike left off, what we were finding was we were having meeting after meeting after meeting with projects and feeling like it's hard for us to get a good sense of the project from an IDA perspective without having that information on an application. So we've streamlined our process. I do kind of like an initial, hey, so glad to hear from you. Let me hear about this. This is what the IDA does. And then if they're interested, if they feel like, yeah, this sounds great, let's set up a second meeting, bring council in on that meeting to make sure that this project would be eligible for IDA benefits. And then from there, we're kind of doing would you like to fill out an application? And really making sure that they have access to our application, they know that that's the next step in the process, and we've streamlined what that process is going to look like for them. So it's not a guessing game as to when they need to come to the IDA, when we want to get that application, and really looking at how that process flows. And I think it's been good because we were able to get a draft application from that. So that, it's just one example, and we'll keep tweaking it till we get it right. But we really do want to feel like we have good, process when it comes to this, and organizational skills to make sure that projects feel like the IDA is professional, they come to us, they know what to expect, and we move them through in a timely manner. So that being said, I always love talking about potential projects, and so we're just continuing those discussions and supporting several potential projects, and we look forward to bringing some of those to the board in the coming months. And just since I love to give people numbers, and so since our last meeting, which I believe was July 10th, we've had 5 additional new projects reach out to us with, potential ideas for projects. So as you know, IDA incentives is a marathon, not a race. So it's we don't ever expect to hear from someone and have an application in front of the board the next day. But we do think that a lot of these are really bringing some great opportunities here to Ulster County, and so we look forward to bringing that to you guys. Moving on from projects, just gonna touch base briefly on our community outreach initiate. I can't think of the word, but anyway, what we've been trying to do with community outreach. So we're continuing to kind of move full steam ahead with the IDA's commitment to the community, and we're happy to be supporting the Office of Employment and Training. They have an upcoming job fair in end of September. I want to say it's like the 20th. And so we're going to be reaching out to all of our current and hopefully some past IDA projects as well and encouraging them to participate. They're calling it like your dream career fair, and they're doing it in the evenings. And the idea is for people who maybe are underemployed or who are unemployed to come out and see what types of professional jobs are out in the county and what other opportunities there are for them. Because I would imagine that there are a lot of people, there's a lot of skill here, and there could be some people that if they shifted around could have some more opportunity here in Ulster County. And so we're excited to be supporting them in that effort. Additionally, we've been, as always, in attendance at a variety of community events. I will say overall summers are pretty slow with vacations, but fall is filling up fast, and you know, we always welcome board members too. If you have events that you'd like the idea you think would be a good fit for us, send them to me, and vice versa. We always, you know, encourage everyone to kind of get out there.
Is there cost for events?
So some events do have costs and some are free. Usually if an event does have a cost, I'll kind of vet it with the chair. Do you think this would be appropriate for us to attend? But I would say the majority of events that we're going to are like community-based or free events. We don't tend to attend a lot of paid events. Where was I? Sorry. No, you're fine. Oh, okay. So then we put together just some kind of like our outreach goals that really lean into the work that we're hopefully going to be doing with some rebranding, some logo, hopefully getting our social media up and running. And so we're excited to kind of launch that out within the next few months. So all good things ahead. And then just there's a lot on this agenda, and I'm probably going to keep talking at everyone for a while. So I'll just wrap up the update with touching on some administrative matters. Happy to say that all of the 2023 project late fees have now been paid. So we're very happy that we do not carrying any bad debt or anything into the new year, and we were able to get all of our fees collected. We've done some preliminary 2025 budget planning with BST, and I'm kind of hoping, just to give everyone the heads up, to have our finance committee, which is all of you, meet in September to review a draft of the budget for then, board recommendation, and so we can get it on time to the ABO. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind.
It would be before the September meeting.
Yeah.
Not an additional.
We would have it very quickly.
Not an additional date.
Yeah. Every year it seems as though, and I could be wrong, but this has just been my observation, that the Office of the State Comptroller reviews Paris reports. So we submit Paris to the ABO. The Office of the State Comptroller is the one who reviews the reports. So, and sometimes they have questions, and I think this year, I'm very happy, even though they did ask us some questions. They're really, what they do is they look for large differences between maybe what was reported in 2023 or 2022 and 2023. Things that are just like, why is there a difference here? Why is this, year different from last year? And so last year when they did that, we had several administrative errors. This year we only found one that was due to administrative error, a very small one. And the rest of them, we believe, was just how the pilot was structured. Like, for example, UPAC always comes up because it had been a zero pilot project, so they always ask that. And so we've sent a draft response. Joe is just reviewing that, and I'm hoping to get that out today at the latest. So
we sent you a response.
I saw that, yes. So.
And just to give Hillary a break for a second, all of our IDA clients get a follow-up email, or I guess I shouldn't say all, probably 90% of our IDA clients get a follow-up email from the Office of State Controller, because they do look at these reports carefully, and they look for trends, and they look for numbers that, at least on their face, don't seem to make sense, and they ask follow-up questions. So the fact that we're getting these inquiries is not a problem. It's really a reflection of how diligent, frankly, the Office of State Controller is.
Do they ask us the questions, or do they go directly to the clients? They ask us.
No, they send them to Mike, actually, and he sends them to me, and then we draft a response, and then we have Joe make sure that I didn't say the wrong thing. Well, Mark and I draft a response.
They're the same ones every year almost.
Yeah.
And we had one different one this year. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
And they always come at the time that you don't want them to come. Like when you're doing the report or.
So, but I think it's really just a credit to all of the work that, frankly, Mark did. I was just collecting paperwork and making 5,000 phone calls, but Mark is the one that spent the chunk of the time entering all of that into Paris and really checking the tax rates and doing all of that. And so the fact that there was only one small administrative number that was off. And Shannon was great, so I'm very pleased. And so, and also for our audit firm, they, also audited our Paris report. And so, I think that it's a good testament to the hard work that some of our professional services provided to us this year.
What was the administrative error?
So one of the projects actually has two. So how they have the tax ID number. So one of the projects has two tax maps. And so when he did one of the calculations, he calculated it on the rate, not including the second one, which is a very small one. So he didn't carry the second tax rate calculation over, which made, so he put it in right, but then didn't do the math calculation on the two tax rolled properties, only on one of them. So anyway, that's where we're at, and we expect to submit that response to them today or early tomorrow at the latest. And that's all I have on updates outside of other exciting things that are happening that will be on the agenda as we move through. So any questions?
Did you go to your class? Has that started?
The class starts the 8th of September, and then it is 2 Wednesdays a month from September through June. So very exciting. And I'm sure I'll give you updates as we move along through that.
Thank you, Hillary. Great report. And I'll tell you what, I ask everybody, you get an opportunity to pop into Hillary's office, walk in there, because that is a beehive of activity, okay? Because there is stuff all over the place up there. There is on the dry erase board. Hillary currently has a chart to the top to success for 2025, the way it's climbing the ladder. She is very involved, and she's doing a fantastic job. So rest assured, your executive director is really leading the charge. So we'll go with committee reports. We'll start with audit. Steve?
The Loki Brill report begins on page 9, it looks like.
I think it's the back of 8.
The back of 8. All right, the back of 8. And, it looks pretty normal. Afria is 100%. We have Innis is at 84.5%. And Afria is at 79.49% for the overall project, but 93.85% for the total monthly compliance.
Very good. Must be all those, must be the compliance letters that are going out, doing a great job. Okay, thank you, Steve. Finance, Rachel?
So the finance report is regarding an RFP that we would like to put out for new accounting for audit purposes. Hillary can give the details to our reason, but it was financial. We concluded we were being way overcharged for the services that we were getting. So in the packet is a draft RFP. I don't know if there's a need to go over it now, or if the process is we'll just make a motion to move forward with the RFP, if everyone's had a chance to review it, because it's in the materials.
So just some quick background. I think PFK or PKF O'Connor Davies did a phenomenal job. This is nothing to do with the work. I think we're very pleased with it. We anticipate the audit services for this year to be $27,000. Our accounting firm, who works with other IDAs, says this is very high, that most IDAs are not paying this much. And given that we don't have any like projects, we're not doing a lot of activity out of our IDA, that he also feels, that number may be, not necessarily reflective of the amount of auditing that our IDA needs, for lack of a better word. And additionally, our bill from BST is calculated based on the amount of hours they anticipate providing services to our IDA. And so they kind of budget in about 20 to 40 hours for total audit services for both the IDA and the CRC. And they spent, I think it was 60 hours alone on the IDA. That they were on site for one day, and then they continued for 3 weeks, working very closely with Mark, requesting more documents, and kind of auditing our Paris report in real time, which became a little difficult for us to get things done, and it was just a little arduous. And so BST has stated that if we continue with PKF O'Connor Davies, that they will then also increase our rates. So not only are we paying probably $27,000 for audit services, but our accounting services will also increase. And so the idea is that let's put it out for RFP. Let's see if, there are other services that maybe are more cost effective. And then, it's totally up to you as a board, but we just wanted to present this option as we're kind of in the process of budget planning.
So we want to get rid of O'Connor Davies and the audit firm?
O'Connor Davies is the audit.
Is the audit firm.
The outside audit.
The outside.
That's who
accounting.
we've always had, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
That's who we're considering
Replacing. Okay.
I think we had actually UHY or whatever.
We've had them for 3 or 4 years, not
Yeah.
always.
Oh, right.
We've had them for
They replaced
3 to 5
UHY.
years.
Yeah.
UHY, the outside firm.
Yeah.
It's
They're
not a
over
bad
here,
idea
yeah.
to put it out for bid every so often.
Well,
what
professional
comes in.
services are supposed to be put out for RFP every 3 years anyway, as part of our own procurement policy. So we're not really outside of the bounds of our own policies
So if that's our policy, why does this have to
Well,
come to
this
the
is
board?
2
Why
years.
wouldn't you just, oh, it's
because
2
for
years.
2 years. Yeah, sorry.
Joe, do we need a roll call or?
No, I think direction to the executive director to push forward
Yeah.
is fine.
Fine.
A motion?
Yeah, motion.
Okay, a motion to move forward with the RFP.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. That's it for finance.
Thank you, Rachel. Governance, Costu.
Good morning, everyone. I'll be quick. We as governance committee met a few days ago, discussed a few things which were productive. Most importantly, we discussed the progression and discussion on the housing policy matters. And Steve was there, Rachel was there, along with, of course, Hillary. And we discussed what's most important. We had a few guidelines that we provided to our council, external council, so they can come back to us and propose how we should phrase things, and both for the UTEP and also the matrix. And when we come back, most probably in a week or so, we'd like to meet again as governance and see where we are, and hopefully be able to present something at the next general meeting. The second matter, which would be a recommendation, and I'd like Hillary to go into a little more detail, is a proposal or recommendation to create a sustainability task force, if you may. The general objective is to kind of review first and understand what our needs are from energy, sustainability, and other needs, because there was a discussion even during the housing policy matters discussion that how do we really think about clean energy from our standpoint, if you may, for that one example, because currently significant amount of electricity is produced by coal. So taking just that example, I think we ought to review as the county for IDA, what are our objectives? Where are we with respect to clean energy and sustainability, etc.? And as a board, we believe Trevor might be somebody who might be interested in leading the charge on that, Chair. So
Yeah.
those were the two most important things that we discussed, and I'll let both Rachel and Steve join in.
I think that was a great summary. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That's all, Chair.
So just to piggyback really quick on the creation of the task force. So Trevor, myself, and the chair met recently, and Trevor has agreed to kind of lead that task force. We're looking to bring recommendations to the governance committee probably in November. And some things we'd like to look at are, we hear, I think Jen said it really well, they're looking to bring sustainable jobs, green jobs, clean jobs. So what are these jobs? Clean energy, renewables, what are those? What do they look like? How do those projects take place and happen? And then what is the IDA's role in that? And so are there things, we want to just make sure that what we say we want as a community, that our policies align with that to attract what we want. So if we want to have clean and green jobs and environmental sustainability, are our policies aligning with those objectives? And
Mission
so,
alignment is paramount.
yeah, and so we're excited to be working on that and hopefully put a presentation and any recommendations of the task force finding in November to our governance committee, and we will let everyone know when that's happening. We would welcome you to come and listen in on that. So we're very excited. I am super thrilled to have Trevor. I can't, he is such an expert and has so much insight and knowledge in this area that we are, truly thrilled to have him as a member of our board, and really going to tap into his insight in this as well. And we look forward to really, as Jen put it so well in our last meeting, we all row in the same direction. And so we really want to see how can we support the county in their efforts as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great meeting with Trevor. Really on board 100% on it. So, I think it's going to be a great idea.
Do we envision putting these things in a UTEP for,
the thing is that there is a column already in the UTEP, the proposed UTEP for renewables, okay, using clean energy, green energy. I don't think we have that. We have one box empty.
Two boxes empty.
Two boxes empty. So you know what? It's something to think about. We all too well. Points are everything when it comes to that, and if you're willing to dive in, and put the money in, invest the money in renewables and stuff, you could actually benefit from the points on that.
do we have LEED certification is in our
You know what?
UTEP, Joe?
Remember we had a problem with that a long time ago because people were getting gimme points for getting a light bulb
Right.
and screwing a light bulb in. So,
So we need to, aren't there two types of LEED certifications? There's a low one and then there's a really high bar one, right?
I haven't kept up on the latest on LEED with green building certifications, but there's 3 levels or 4 levels that I remember.
Okay.
And
They're
it
tiered,
is
silver,
a
golden.
footnote.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a footnote in
one
there.
good thing about it is come September's meeting, Trevor will be in both feet. He can give us a nice update through governance, through the chair, and we can see where he's at, and he can pretty much outline it all for us and tie it all together. So he'll give us a nice report in September. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we'll give you guys a lot more details to come.
Costu?
That's all I have, Chair.
Thank you, Costu. Okay. Old business. Joe, status of pending projects?
Yep, thank you, Chair. You have two pieces of paper in your handout, one on pending projects and the other pending enforcement matters. This is what they look like. With respect to pending transactions, we have the Presto Labs and the Zinc Eight projects listed. There's been no movement on either project. Any questions? And then with respect to pending enforcement, there's been more developments with respect to that matter. The 300 Grant Avenue, the Northeast Trauma Center, or the Head Trauma Center. It's a confusing project because I think there's at least 3 names for it. What the IDA has been doing with Hillary's Energy, frankly, is making sure that the locals, the town, the school, and the county have been paid their pilot payments. I believe, and Hillary can correct me if I'm wrong, that all the town and the county have been paid their pilot bills, but the county is owed some penalties and interest because the county payment was made late.
Very late.
The company has asked us to terminate the IDA documents. We've sent them a letter indicating that we have the documents ready to go, but that they need to pay an administrative fee to the IDA to reflect Hillary's activity in terms of monitoring and coordinating and communicating and being courteous, frankly, to the local municipalities. Payment of our fees for preparation of the documents and the work done on following up on all this, and then also the payment of the outstanding premium and interest owed to, and I was going to get to that too. Yep. And so it's actually 4 things. Sorry. With respect to the monies owed to the county, and then fourthly, the annual report information that we would need from them, because even though we'd be terminating the project mid-year, we still need to report on that project with respect to our IDA report. And as you can imagine, once you terminate the documents with a project applicant, they're not exactly prone to answer your phone call. So there's approximately 4 conditions in the letter, and we're having ongoing communications with their counsel, and so we hope to have it wrapped up in due course. The bottom line, and I've made this point several times in prior meetings, is that the IDA is on top of it, has been communicating with the local municipalities, has been trying to herd some cats on our side of the table, and the bottom line is that we're just making sure that the company does everything that they're supposed to do in connection with the documents before the documents are terminated. And with that, I'll open it up for any comments or questions.
Do we have I know, like, filing reports, we created a fee structure for that.
So we're in the process of that right now.
Do we, because I think we should have a fee structure for all of that stuff that you do, because it should not be free and you shouldn't have to think it up. There should be
We've had that discussion already, and listen, I know all too well how much work has been involved so far with Hillary. Hillary's been putting her lion's share of the time in. She's been doing work on behalf of every municipality. When I say everyone. And she's been coordinating everything with it. So she has a lot of time invested in this, of the IDA, of her weekly workload.
Amount of time, and then we took my salary and I, made an hourly.
It should be. I mean, you should.
Yeah, that's how I came up with the fee.
We're going to break it down so that time is applied.
And I would suggest that maybe finance, we codify this so that it is a standard rate, whether it's as arduous as it was in this instance. This is the fee when we have to do these things because you're not paying the municipality.
I think that's a good idea. We can look at that and talk about what our fee structure is.
Or maybe it's governance. I think it's probably
It's gotta go through
I think we go
governance.
through,
Yeah.
Everything goes to governance.
Yeah, I mean, wherever it needs to go, we can send it there.
But yeah, we've had that discussion already, knowing what happened here, and you know, so.
I mean, we could do it as a flat fee for terminating documents, administrative fees. We can look at hourly. I mean, I think that all makes great sense. So yeah, absolutely.
Joe?
Yeah, that's fine. We've actually worked with several of our other IDA clients with respect to post-closing fees, and we can certainly provide some assistance there.
Sketching.
Okay.
I wrote it down. I'll coordinate with Hillary in terms of who takes the first cut of it.
Sounds good.
Great. That it, Joe?
That's all I have. Yep, thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Joe. New business. You'll see on here, Ulster County Industrial Development Agency branding. I'm going to let Hillary run with this one. This is her baby. Okay, so Hillary?
So, I am super excited, and honestly, I really wanted this to be on the agenda because I reached out to actually 4 local companies, was able to get quotes for what we had discussed, which was like a new logo and kind of like a rebranding. And they're all phenomenal. They're all Ulster County based companies. They're all familiar with the work of the IDA, and for me to pick would be really hard because I think we cannot go wrong. And all of their costs, you know, what they quoted us, kind of fell about the same. They're, I believe, 2 for $5,000 and 1 for $6,000. And I was hoping, as a board, you could review this and maybe come to a consensus on which firm you'd like to move forward with.
Question, which one do you like?
Yeah, what's your recommendation?
I mean,
That's- well,
ultimately, that's
I know.
what matters. I mean, if the
Put
price
it on the record.
is not that,
I know
So,
what it is.
I think that, again, I don't think we can go wrong with any of them, but I will say that if you turn to page 37, I really liked, I thought the way they captured exactly what we were looking for was best put by that one.
Kingston Creative.
I love the way that they kind of took that picture, used the whole color scheme, and then showed the way you could use the logo in a variety of applications with the color scheme, with the typeface. And then I know, even though
What's the additional things they come with?
so, well, they all kind of are actually did a really good job of giving us pretty much the same scope, which was great. So we're comparing apples to apples, which is always like a great place to start. But the other piece, if you turn to page 38, I'm a PowerPoint lover myself. I know they're not everyone's cup of tea. But I love the fact if you created a map or a chart, it's all branded within our typeface and our like color scheme, how they did that. I think it just helps really, you know, when we're working and trying to put these things together, it all feels as though it's coming from the IDA. Now, I'm assuming they will all, though, be able to provide that for us. This proposal just happens to spell that out a little clearer in a way that we can examine it. But again, I met with all of them. I will say the first one has a lot of experience doing branding for economic development here in Ulster County. So in terms of the nuance of our mission, I think that they would do an excellent job of really understanding what the IDA's role is in the community, and that's very important to branding. And then I would say the positive on the third one, which starts on page 25 or 24-25, is they gave some of their work that they've done, which is absolutely phenomenal and very well recognized. I would say that those are some real great branding. That starts on page 31 of some beautiful work that's been branded and logo design that's absolutely phenomenal and well done within our county. I think I love all of that, and it's very recognizable to me as well. Really well thought out. So that's why I said you cannot go wrong. And I met with all of them, and they are such great firms that I feel guilty picking because I want to pick them all.
How
about-
about, do they do the website? Are they
So
gonna work
we
with you
have
on the
our
website?
website guy, yeah, and I let them know we've launched our new website, and so this could all integrate, you know, with kind of moving over the color scheme. They kind of were like, well, could you wait to launch the website? And I'm like, no, I'm so anxious. I want to get the website launched. But, you know, we kind of hold the keys to the website, and so Steve from Mid-Hudson Web, he's also providing us with our IT. So he's not just beating it now that the website.
It was very
done.
rare that we could find an IT guy and the guy
website.
with the web.
So
And it was very difficult in the past. It was, what
we
an
didn't get
undertaking.
anything. Yeah.
so this guy has been a home run. So, but moving along here with this, there's a lot of, Hillary has a lot of time invested in this, of meeting with everybody, vetting all this process out. I would like to entertain a motion for Hillary to move ahead with Kingston Creative.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. And
Nice job.
we look forward to bringing some logo drafts to the board. That's your next pick. So.
Great job, Hillary.
All
That
right,
comes to
thank you,
governance
guys.
too?
So,
It all goes to governance.
Feria, which is one of our current projects, is looking for additional mortgage help. Okay. Joe, do you want to take this one? You got the resolution drawn up?
Yeah, I'm happy to. And the resolution is in their package.
Oh, and it's in their pack. We got some late editions, so.
And we apologize for the late.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the upper right-hand corner. We say resolution consensus to mortgage. You know, at the 50,000-foot level, this is an IDA project. In connection with the IDA project, we take an interest in the real estate. They're going out to get some additional financing. They've reached you know, finalization with the bank. The bank wants a mortgage, no surprise, to secure the financing. The IDA is typically asked to join in that mortgage because we have a leasehold interest in the property. And so no bank would take a mortgage without the IDA joining in the mortgage. We review the mortgage to make sure that there's no obligations on the part of the IDA under that mortgage. And in connection with our review of the mortgage and our circling with Hillary on moving forward to close on the transaction, we make sure that the project applicant is in compliance with you know, the IDA's rules, the IDA documents, et cetera. So what this resolution does is authorize the chair to sign, the chair or vice chair to sign the mortgage, subject to those conditions of finalization of the mortgage, compliance with any provisions under the existing documents, compliance with our policies. You know, for instance, if they were late on their annual report, if they hadn't submitted their annual report yet, we wouldn't be signing the mortgage.
Yeah.
It's I want to say this is pro forma, non-controversial. Following up on Randall's point, there is a provision in the resolution for you know, receipt of an admin fee for this matter. The typical range is anywhere from $1,500 to $3,500. We'll check our history and we'll review that with Hillary. And with that, I'll open up for any comments or questions.
So, Joe, on page 3, in the middle of the page, section 1, just like to bring that to everybody's attention also on B, especially B. The agency will not be granting any mortgage recording tax exemptions relating to the additional financing. So A, B, and C right there, if you take a look at it, that, you know, that makes you, you know, feel comfortable moving ahead. Okay.
Does this put us in a different position? I would imagine that our bonding is secured by the land. This put the bank ahead of us?
Well, we didn't issue bonds for this transaction. Okay. So this is simply a straight lease transaction. So we have no mortgage. We're not the beneficiary of any mortgage under this under the existing transaction. So one could make the argument that, you know, by putting more debt on the facility, can the facility cover that debt? And do we care about that? Do we not care about that? the company is, and the bank, it's an arm's length transaction between two, at least on its face, are sophisticated parties. Our interest is only in granting the original exemptions, the mortgage reporting tax, the pilot, and the sales tax. If there's a default by the company on the bank mortgage, the bank will foreclose on the property and the property will go back on the tax rolls. So we're really not at any risk in connection with moving forward on the matter.
I move that we,
Wait, I have one question before we do.
Sure.
Even though we have no obligation on the mortgage, does doing this impact the IDA from a credit standpoint for other things we want to do with other banks?
No, because we have, like you said, we have no obligation.
Okay,
to the mortgage.
okay.
So if we decide to borrow money for for the creation of an industrial park,
Right.
a bank will not look at this mortgage
Okay.
as an obligation of ours and impacting our ability to repay the mortgage that we're going to take out for the industrial park financing that we're going to do directly.
Got it. Okay.
Just one quick question. How much incremental debt are they putting on? Do we know? It's 1.492, but is that, do we know what's the total debt they have right now?
I thought the new amount was 611,000. That's the last paragraph. So it looks like they have about 2733. Looks like about 33. If you look at the 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth and the fifth whereas paragraph on page 4. But again, I mean, the bank, we typically rely on the bank.
That's what I'm assuming, yeah.
We
They got it. They're the ones who are at risk,
Yeah.
not us.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
We don't have any encumbrance. Yeah.
Right. And even in a bond transaction, like for instance, the Zinc transaction.
Yep.
They're negotiating with, in that case, it was
Key bank, yeah.
And whether it was 6 million or 60
Yeah,
million.
doesn't matter.
Key bank,
Yeah.
right? So,
so I move that we authorize the chair to execute the documents necessary for our TH.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
and thanks again for being willing to put, and Hillary for being willing to put this on the agenda at the last minute. Thank you.
And thank you all for being patient and saving some trees because I did not read the whole packet.
Okay, that's it. Motion for adjournment?
So move to second.
All in favor?
Bye.
Thank you. Want to take a couple minutes here and go into the,
Just roll right in it because I'm not that good at the live stream.
you want to roll right in?
There's no real
This won't
business
take
of
very
the.
This,
Yeah, we'll roll right in.
Okay, just because I don't want to screw up the live stream.
Yeah,
Sure.
plus it's back to back, so.
Sure.
I'm sure our viewers out there will appreciate not having a break.
No commercial break today.
Live.
That's right.
Okay, let's call to order the August 21st UCCRC meeting. Roll call, Michael Ham, present. Rachel Silverman, Stephen Kelly,
Present.
Joseph Ferraro,
Present.
Randall Everett, Trevor Kerwin, and Costi Wall. Thank you. The mission statement of the Ulster County Capital Resource Corporation is to promote community and economic development in Ulster County in ways that complement the work of Ulster County, primarily through issuing and selling bonds for nonprofit institutions. In front of you, you'll have the minutes from July 10th. I ask that you review them, and I'll accept a motion for approval. Motion by Randall.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Public comment, agenda items only. Okay. Chair's report. Let the chair's report from the UCIDA reflect the chair's report for the UCCRC. Executive director's report.
Again, let the executive director's report from the UCIDA reflect the executive director's report from the UCCRC.
Thank you, Hillary. Committee reports, audit,
The same. There's no report.
no report. Finance,
No report.
thank you. Governance.
Please let the report from UCIDA reflect the same metrics for UCCRC in the discussion.
Thank you, Constube. Old business. Old business. Is there any new business? Is there any new business? Motion for adjournment?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Say going once, going twice.